So, hello and welcome everyone to the IET India Digital Conversations. I hope all of you are doing well and keeping safe. Life often hits us hard and takes us down at various stages during the current pandemic globally. And it has turned things upside down and made us come face to face with some hard realities about life and livelihood. So, how do we choose to seek opportunities within these challenges? How do we cope up with this crisis? In today's session, we will all have the opportunity to know better about these setbacks in life and how to turn them into comebacks, learning the tools and best practices to prepare for success and win. I am Suman Bhaumik, your weekly host, and I lead the events development for the IET in India. It's a privilege, and an honor to have the renowned author, educator, business consultant, and a much sought after speaker, the one and only Mr. Shiv Khera with us. Now, please allow me to introduce our moderator for the fireside chat today, Shekhar Sanyal. He's the country head and the director of IET in India. Over to you now, Shekhar. Let's start the discussion.
Thank you, Suman. And Mr. Khera, very welcome to the IET's Digital Conversations. We are as honored and privileged to have you here. You have changed multiple lives over these years, and we hope that the people who are listening today, they will get some input from you, and their lives will also be, this will be a life-changing discussion that they will have today. Our format today is in a kind of a chat. We have said it's a fireside chat, but it's too hot to have a fire at this point of time, so we'll dispense with the fire and just have the chat. I will ask you a few questions that I have, and then we will also towards the end try to see if we can pick up some audience questions as well. So my first question to you, Mr. Khera, is today's topic is, or the area that we are talking is turning setbacks into comebacks. So let me start by asking you about setbacks. And before we go into the larger setback, which all of us are going through right now, or the world is facing, I would like you to talk about a personal setback that you might have faced, and how did you turn it into a comeback, which will serve as a great inspiration for all the people listening in today.
Shekhar, first of all, I want to thank you for your kind words. I'm grateful to you, sir. And all I can say is, to begin with, I don't know if anybody who has all the answers today. Certainly I don't. And to share my little background, my academics are, I'm not that educated. I'm a BCom third division. I failed in my 10th. That's my academics. And I come from a business family. We had coal mines in India, close to 1,000 people working. Now, I didn't create them. I inherited them. And the government took over. So right from being a mine owner, we came on the street. Street means street. Some families had money. We did not. My father had died when I was in college. We were left with the liabilities and the assets were gone. I was married only 4 weeks then. And I remember a year later, my daughter was born, and I sold some of the last piece of my mother's jewelry to get released from the hospital. I did not have $10 to buy mix. So I remember that day. Not $10. And thereafter, I tried my hands on 3 businesses with no money, and I failed in all 3. Finally, November 13, 1975, I left India, went to US, initially went to Toronto. And since not being that educated, I started life with a bucket in my hand, washing cars door to door for 2 years. Year and a half to 2 years, I was just on the street washing cars. And I was sleeping on the floor. That's how I started life. And totally by accident, I got into selling life insurance, which I think was the best thing ever happened to me in my life. And within 90 days, I was about to be fired for non-performance. Now, from here, there are some turning points. And today, if you permit me, I will share some turning points with my viewers, with you also. What were the things that changed around? Thereafter, I became a $1 million producer in insurance, MDRT. I was hitting the 0.5% in the world numbers. Moved on to the US, got into 3 businesses. I bought out a company out of California in 1984, started a New Jersey operation with no clients, and I sold my company for a decent sum with close to 500 clients. Now, what are the learnings that came in? That's why the title of my program is Turn Setback into Comeback. I had 3 major setbacks in my life where I went into minus, deep minus. And what were the things that helped me come back? Those are learnings that I would share with people. How do we come back And this is another major setback in life for everybody all over the world. This corona crisis is a major setback, but how do we turn back? What are the things that people have done in life? And to just share with you the setback component, there are only two sources of references in the last 100 years of similar setbacks, since that is your question. And one was the Spanish flu. Now, you might have heard of it long time, so I'm not going to dwell on it, but Spanish flu came in 1918 and it went away. And people thought the danger was over. But then it came back again 6 months later. And it killed, guess what? 50 million people died, Shekhar, at that time. Why am I sharing this with you is because since the lockdown is over, people are thinking the danger is over and they drop their guard. You drop your guards, you are vulnerable again. So my answer is don't drop your guard. Don't drop your guard. Danger is not over. Look at South Korea, Singapore. Melbourne has gone into another lockdown again. And US, almost 200,000 people are dead. 180 is confirmed. And they are saying the second phase has not even come yet. And that we're talking of September, October. With those numbers coming, we're talking 500,000 people right in the US alone. So my only one thing is don't drop your guard. That's one. And second point of reference for the setback that came in was the Great Depression, 1929. Banks collapsed, stock market finished at that point. $100 became $15. Dollar lost its value by 85%. And unemployment, people lost their savings totally. And 15 million people were unemployed. Now, 15 million then is equivalent to 55 million today. Because the population in the US was only 120 million at that time. And there are close to 40 million people who are on the unemployment list right now in the US. Now, here is a silver lining. Shekhar, very important. Here is a silver lining for comeback. And that is that experience has shown that whenever unemployment has gone up, self-employment has always gone up. Now, why do I share this with you? Because there are some people during that Great Depression, when people had no money, no risk-taking ability, they were not educated, they were not techies, and they were struggling. But there were some people who started their business during that depression, and today they are household words. And I'm going to share two examples with you. Why did they come up with flying colors? Because they had the same problem, similar, but they were solution-focused people. They were positive people. They were called survivalist entrepreneurs. Now, they were solution-focused. Now, you notice there are some people who are problem-focused. You know what that means? You give them a solution, they'll give you a problem. They have a problem for every solution. Henry Ford said, kick them out. We're not stupid. We understand there are problems in life. But we need somebody who's solution-focused. Now, think about it, Shekhar. How come under the same set of circumstances, there are some people who break records while others break themselves? How come? Identical circumstances, some people break records while others break themselves. I'll only share with you three examples and then I'll give the floor back to you. Three examples. One was a man by the name of George Jenkins. He started in a neighborhood abandoned place, a little outlet for non-perishable durable goods. These two words are very important. Non-perishable durable goods. Why? If they perish, we lose money. So he didn't have the money to lose. And why durable? He said, if I don't sell, at least I and my family can use it. This is how they started because they had no money at all. And that is how it started. And today, his turnover is $30 billion. Net worth, $6 billion. He has 1,000 outlets in the US and the store's name is called Publix Supermarket. One. Number two, there are two brothers, Gallo brothers in California. They were struggling, but they caught hold of some grapes and made wine out of it, but nobody would buy it. So they started selling the wine at 50% below market. This is how they started. And today, Gallo Wineries it is one of the largest wineries in the U.S., accounting for 25% of the wine trade in the U.S., and valuation is $10 billion. And third example is, there was a man by the name of Simplot in Idaho. He started cultivating potatoes. Now, what he couldn't sell, the family ate. But what he couldn't eat started rotting. So he could not afford the loss of rotten potatoes. So he started freezing them. This is how he started. And today, he accounts for 33% of French fries business in the US. The largest customer is McDonald's, and his worth is $10 to $12 billion. Now, I don't want to leave my listeners with an impression that you and I start business today and you will all become billionaires. That is not the message. The message is very clear. They had exactly similar problems, but they were solution-focused people. We just need to be solution-focused, and there is tremendous opportunity today. This has actually created, this crisis has created opportunity. I'll share with you one example, and that is, I talk of myself. I am not a techie. I don't understand technology at all. My first webinar I did on 8th of April. And till then, sir, hear me carefully, Shekhar, till then, I was learning to do SMS from my grandchildren. In my life, I have never done an email. I have never done it. I did not know how to open a computer. And you know something, in the last 60 days, I have done close to 55 webinars. And many people are paying us for it. And over 1 million people have gone through my webinars, being hosted by the Consul General of New York, Canada. Many ministers from different countries have come in. And I'm booked now, giving out dates for November already. Till November, we tied up. It has opened up a new opportunity which I never knew was existing. Now, what I can say is, from this crisis, if we do not come out more upskilled. So I have upskilled myself. If we do not come out more upskilled, 2, more knowledgeable, and 3, healthier and fitter, it is not because we lack time, but because we lack commitment and self-discipline. Now, I say 3 things. If we have not come out more upskilled, more knowledgeable, and
fitter,
healthier and fitter, is not because we lack time. Now, I've already shared with you on the upskill part. Second thing is, I'll share with you in fact, I will send you my new book, which was launched last year, You Can Achieve More. It was in London and Canada. What happened is, you will love this one quotation from Nelson Mandela. He spent 27 years in jail. And he was asked, Mr. Mandela, how did you survive 27 years in jail? You know what his answer was? I was not surviving, I was preparing. How do you like that? I was not surviving, I was preparing. And from there I deciphered a quotation. I said, I will not let this crisis define me. I will use this crisis to refine me. Now, I used to also read a lot of books at one time, 20, 30 books. But then, somewhere I dropped the habit, and people are watching TV, and I also messed up too. I mean, for a couple of days, I also wasted time on watching TV. Then I kicked myself. I said, what the hell are you doing? I went into my library, opened up my boxes. In my library, Shekhar, I have close to 250,000 books in my library alone. That is more than many libraries have it. And I opened up my books, and I saw many books were half read. I brought them. And the other night, I was reading a book till morning 6 o'clock. But who cares? I couldn't get up till 2 o'clock anyway. It doesn't matter. I didn't waste my time watching TV. So I converted it back into learning. I started the habit back again. So 1, I've upskilled myself. 2, I'm gaining knowledge by reading books back again. And 3, I lost 6 kilos of weight.
Wonderful.
I'm exercising every day. I'm in my sauna every day. You tell me one thing, what better? I'm feeling healthier, fitter. I'm spending time with my grandchildren, my wife, and we are enjoying this period. I'm not kidding. If this crisis goes on for another year, man, I'd love it. Not that I want it to. But what I'm saying is, You have to convert downtime to uptime. So if we have not done that, upskilled ourselves, become more knowledgeable, or become healthy and fitter, you cannot say we didn't have the time.
True. So true.
And sadly, this is what is missing out there today. I'll just share you the example of the first generation millionaires and billionaires. Okay, I've gone a little too far, but go ahead. Now you pick up from
No. It's so interesting and so true. All of them. Also, the fact that, as you said, when you start looking, have a solution focus, that's also the seed to innovation. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. Because as you start looking at solution in crisis, then you start looking at possible innovative solutions, and some of these are innovative solutions as well. But I want to move to another area, which is, I think, very dear to you, which are human values. Human values are becoming more and more important today. We have a corporate culture which is so thrives on measurements, on numbers, on Excel sheets. I mean, as a leader, what is the advice to business leaders today about the importance of? We are all working across screens now. Everybody is working from home. So trust, integrity, empathy, human connections. What would you tell the leaders who are listening to today about these areas of human values and how they should use that or benefit from that in this new world that's coming through?
Shekhar, there was a survey done by Gallup in the US which said 63% of people who go to work, they're disengaged. And additional 24% are actively disengaged. Disengaged means they don't do their job. Actively disengaged means they don't let others do their job either. That only leaves 13% of people who go to work actually do work. Now think about it. Only 30, this is a global survey. 13% of people who go to work actually do work. Tell me, is this not an integrity issue? And go check out all over the world. We don't have business problems, we have people problems. And when we take care of our people problems, most of our business problems are automatically resolved. And you check out anywhere in the world, we are hired for our skills, but we are fired for our behavior. True? Now, you see, Mercedes is a client of ours, and one of the senior executives wrote an article that with the speed of change, in future, their competitors will not be automobile manufacturers. Their competitors will be Apples and Googles. Sorry, the Googles and the Amazons. Now, with the speed of change, the way things are happening, products are getting obsolete the day they're getting launched. And knowledge is getting obsolete within 2 to 3 years. Now, you tell me, you look at an engineering graduate, by the time they get to the 4th year, what they learned the first year became obsolete. Medical graduates, by the time they get to the 4th and the 5th year, what they learned the first year became obsolete. Now, with this scenario, there are people who say, Mr. Khera, tell me what skills should we be ready with that these people will have the technical skills so they will not get obsolete. I said, buddy, prepare to get out of business. Prepare. I wrote an article with this kind of a scenario. Either we have a great opportunity or we are in deep trouble. Now, great opportunity for who? For those who are prepared. But how do you prepare for unknown? You don't know what's coming. How do you prepare for the unknown? Now, so I wrote an article which I sent to New York Times for publication. I wrote in that it has become a cliche, the only constant is change. Now, with that scenario, there are challenges, but is there anything other than change that is constant? And if there is, then why not master? So I came up with an answer that there are 3 things that are constant. They have never changed. They will never change. Why not master those 3 skills? No matter what technology comes, which will keep changing every year, it will keep changing every 6 months, it will change. Every month it will change. You master these 3 skills, no matter what happens, you will be on the top. What are the 3 things? 1, and they have never changed. Our parents, their parents, their parents, and they will never change in the future. 3 things. 1, people skills. 2, persuasion skills. 3, prioritizing skills. Why do I share these three things? Because, as I said, we don't have business problems, we have people problems all over the world. And we are hired for a skill, fired for a behavior. Third, go check out. See, the lower a person is in life, 90% of the time they spend in technical skills, 10% people skills. And higher you go up, guess what happens? It just reverses.
Yeah.
And that means technology and technicians you can always buy with money. But the wealthiest person in the world must build and create relationships. Now, I could go on and on and on people's side. Now, when I said we are hired for skill and fired for behavior, not only as an employee, but also as a vendor, also as a consultant. Same thing applies, nothing changes. And I could go on, but I'm going to stop here in the interest of time. One is people skills. This is a good 2-hour program, and we'll do it another time. The second is persuasion skills. There are many people who say, well, I don't need, I'm into technology, I'm into IT, I'm into finance, I'm into admin. I don't need the persuasion part. I don't deal with people. They are showing basic ignorance. What does the word persuasion mean? Persuasion means ability to influence, ability to convince, ability to negotiate, and ability to sell. That's called persuasion. 4 items. Now, anybody who talks that they don't need it, they are basically showing ignorance of existence. They're nuts. Who is not selling? You see, a candidate at a job interview, what's he doing? Selling, for which he needs what? Persuasion skills. A boy girl proposing to get married, what are they doing? Persuading each other to get married. Lawyer arguing in front of the girl, what's he doing? Persuasion. Politician giving speeches to get votes, what the hell is he doing? Persuasion.
Yeah.
And in my new book, you can sell, we have put in a subtitle to it that in life, results are rewarded, efforts are not. What does that mean? It means we judge ourselves by our intentions, but the world judges us by our actions.
Yeah.
I repeat, we judge ourselves by our intentions, but the world judges us by our actions. So 1, people skills, 2, persuasion skills, and 3, prioritizing skills. Let me just give you a 2-liner on prioritizing skills. You see, till the lockdown came, all of us were in the fast lane, running. Yep. Where we were going, we didn't know, but we had no time. Look at this. What a paradox. The amount of time-saving devices we have today, we've never had that many in history. And yet we don't have what? Time. You know why? Because somewhere we messed up our priorities. And I'm not teaching here, I'm guilty myself. And when we mess up our priorities, we forget to distinguish between what's urgent in life and what's important in life. Urgent may or may not be important, and important may or may not be urgent. But the interesting thing is that whenever we ignore what is important, it always converts into urgent. See, Shekhar, health is important, it's not urgent. Exercising every day is important, but it's not urgent. Now, if I have a crucial meeting tonight, I cannot exercise, it's not the end of the world. But if I ignore my health long enough, guess what happens? I'll end up in the hospital. Same thing. In life, relationships are important, but they're not urgent. Now, if you ignore relationship long enough, guess what happens? You start talking to your lawyers.
Sure.
See, whenever we ignore what is important, it converts into urgent. We need to get back our priorities. And you ask people, why do you go to work? I go to work for my family. Why do you work hard? I work hard for my family. Who are the most important people in your life? My family. Who are the most neglected? Also my family. What a joke. Sadly, the most important people many times become the most neglected people too. Why? Because somewhere we messed up our priorities. Now, what this lockdown has done has helped people to step backwards. And they say, well, now we were running. Let's see where we're running in the right direction. Now they have come back and realized that, remember, in life, direction is much more important than speed. So, direction is much more important than speed. And along with it, when we talk of priorities, we start talking of discretionary and non-discretionary spending. We used to hear a lot of times this cliche, cash is king, cash is king. Now they have realized what the word means. Cash is king. It is better to have money in the bank than having 50 shirts in your closet. It is better to have money in the bank than having a car worth $250,000. Now they understand the meaning of cash is king. So they start realizing their priorities. And we used to do, I had another company which I sold in the US. We used to do tax planning for our clients. And used to tell them that you should have 1 year of your income, 1 year of your income in liquid cash accessible within less than 24 hours called emergency fund. Why? Emergencies never tell you in advance. They just come. Now, people who don't have it's a little too late, but going forward, that's the kind of planning one needs to do. Okay, so I'll stay at that point in terms of the priorities. I got lost in the question a little bit. Go ahead.
No, absolutely right. So we are talking about human values, but you beautifully encapsulated the human values in these areas.
Let me come back to the human values. Let me come to the human values. Very important. Which is a solution that I share. How do you overcome this crisis? How do you overcome stress? I'm going to share with you 3 things here, very important, which is all 3 of them human values, in fact, much more. You see, people who are emotionally strong, they're coming out stronger from this crisis. They're bonding much faster and stronger. And people who are emotionally weak, they're falling apart. WHO came out with a report that domestic violence has gone up by 50%. Now, talking about the human values, there are 3 things I would stress very heavily. One is, in fact 4. One is that how do you overcome boredom and depression? I get calls many times from people saying, Mr. Khera, I'm bored. I'm feeling depressed. Now, they think I have the answer, which I really don't. But anyway, I tell them what I have to tell them. But for my program today, I would like to share something very important. I learned one thing in my life, Shekhar. Only boring people in life are bored. Only boring people in life are bored. This is the difference between loneliness and solitude.
Yeah.
Loneliness is the pain of being alone. Solitude is the pleasure of being alone. I enjoy my company. I am at peace with myself. You know why I am at peace with myself? Because I am emotionally strong. Why am I emotionally strong? Because I have high self-esteem. Now, what is self-esteem? Self-esteem is the way we feel about ourselves. When we feel good, the world looks nice, productivity goes up, and relationships are a lot better, aren't they? And the reverse is true. And self-esteem is inversely related to egos. Have you seen people with egos like a know-it-all? What do? They talk down to people, don't they? They put down others, don't they? And every decision they make is more to satisfy ego than makes sense. Now think about it. Why does a human being put down another human being? It is sadistic but true. There are some people in this world who feel good when the other person feels bad. Which means they don't want to lift themselves up, but they want to pull others down. Sadistic behavior. Now, what is a driver to low self-esteem? And what is a driver to high self-esteem, which is emotional stability? You see, the driver to high self-esteem is self-acceptance. And driver to low self-esteem is inadequacy and self-doubt. That is what, in other words, called inferiority complex. Now, when we talk of high self-esteem, the driver is self-acceptance. Now, what does self-acceptance say? Self-acceptance says, how I came here, I don't know. But I'm here. I'm here to stay. And I accept myself the way I am. Now, I accept myself the way I am does not mean arrogance. Does not mean that's the way I will be. It doesn't say take it or leave it. That is all arrogance. This is the epitome of humility if it's understood properly. It says, how I came to this world, I don't know, but I'm here. I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I made mistakes. I apologize for my mistakes. I seek forgiveness for my mistakes. I learn from my mistakes. I'm not proud of my mistakes. I will not repeat my mistakes, but I am not a mistake.
So true.
I accept myself the way I am with my pluses and minuses. Doesn't say I will remain that way. Doesn't say I don't apologize for my mistakes. But I am at peace with myself. And the biggest example of this was given by Charlie Chaplin. Once Charlie Chaplin was passing through Europe, he saw a big hoarding, Charlie Chaplin lookalike contest. And out of sheer inquisitiveness, he decided to participate. And guess what? He lost. He came number 7. Well, he didn't disclose that to anybody. He started, by the way, this is written in his memoir. It says Charlie Chaplin, when he came 7th, he started thinking the real one loses, the fake one wins. And he said, should I tell them who the real one is? And immediately it will open their eyes. And then he started thinking, why should I tell them? They're having fun, enjoying them. Let them have it. Then he said, I know who the real one is anyway. Do I have to prove anything to anyone? I know my true identity. I have to prove nothing to anyone in this world. He walked away from there. He walked away.
Yeah.
I have to prove you nothing. I accept myself the way I am, even though I lost. But I know my identity. I have to prove you nothing. This is called high self-esteem with emotional strength. This is not arrogance. This is epitome of humility. Now, this is what, when we do our 3 or 4 day leadership programs, and in fact, we had a program that we started doing into education for your engineers. We do corporate training, and we tell people in the corporate training that what we're doing here in your corporation is repair work. We're repairing. Now, if you prepare them, you won't have to repair them. Where do you prepare them? You prepare them in schools and colleges. That is where in engineering schools and colleges, this is what you should do. If they don't prepare, you repair later. Now, we spend 4 to 5 hours on self-esteem. It is so crucial. So crucial. 5 hours. And then, what is the prescription to overcome depression? A man asked a world famous psychiatrist by the name of Dr. Carl Menninger. Menninger Clinic in the US is the last word in psychiatry. He was asked, Dr. Menninger, if you knew for sure that one of your patients was coming with an attack of depression, what treatment would you prescribe? They thought he would write some medication. But here's what he said. He said, if I knew for sure one of my patients was coming with an attack of depression, I will tell them, go home. Lock yourself out of the house. Go to the other side of town. Look for somebody who is in trouble. Help them. And your depression will go away automatically. Go look for somebody who is in trouble. Help them and your depression will go away. You know what? Somebody said, poor people don't get depressed. You know why? They have no time to get depressed. They are so busy earning a living, they have no time to get depressed. Depression is the disease of the rich. They have all the time to get depressed. You see, I do some fundraising for the Rotary, the Lions, and the Round Table. I've noticed every day, these guys are busy having eye camp, blood donation camp, polio eradication, something. You don't see any depression. What a prescription by a world famous psychiatrist. What a prescription. This is human value we're talking of. Now, I talk of the integrity aspect of it and the other side. 2 more human values. Well, especially on one on leadership, and second is on giving back. You see, in our program, in the leadership program, we ask people, are you a good person? So when you ask by surprise, they get lost for a moment. They say, well, I'm not sure if other people think I am good, so on. But once in a while they answer, I'm good. I'm good. When you ask them, what makes you good? Then they say, well, I don't do bad, so I'm good. I don't tell lies, I don't cheat, I don't steal, so I'm good. So my answer to them is, sir, I disagree with your answer. Now, just because you don't do bad does not make a person good. If I don't steal, it only means I'm not a thief, but that does not make me good. If I don't tell lies, it only means I'm not a liar, but that does not make me good. Go ask a medical doctor. Absence of ill health does not mean good health. A person does not become by not doing bad. A person becomes good when they proactively do good. Proactively do good. That's called being proactive. Now, why am I sharing this with you? I've been doing leadership programs for 35 years with many Fortune 100 companies, and I found that a good leader takes a stand for something, he takes a stand against something. He's never neutral. If he's neutral, he's a politician. Now, they take a stand for something and a stand against something. You're not neutral. Why am I sharing this? Because compassion is a good word, but I have more compassion for enemies of humanity. Now, who do I label as enemies of humanity? I've seen, this is again human values, I've seen videos from New York, Europe, India. There are people who intentionally to hurt other people. They are either beating them, the healthcare professionals, they are ill-treating nurses and doctors, they are hitting on the cops, they're spitting on them, and they are spitting on fruits, and they're spitting on vegetables, they're spitting on home delivery pizzas, knowing fully well, if I spit on it, this guy could be dead. Is this not sadistic behavior? Aren't they enemies of humanity? Who else do you call enemies of humanity? I have no compassion for them. Now, why am I sharing this with you? Very important reason. Now, I finished a program for about 7,000 people at one go, and one person from the audience came up to me and said, Mr. Khera, he asked me, are you a Gandhian? Now, Shekhar, I learned one thing in my life. Before you answer a question, one, always clarify the question, and two, sometimes the best answer to a question is a question.
Yeah.
So I asked him, sir, can you define who is a Gandhian? What are the criteria of being a Gandhian? So the man came back and he said, well, Gandhi believed in three principles. One, he believed that with love you can win everybody in this world. One principle. Two, Gandhi believed in tolerance. And three, Gandhi believed in non-violence. Three principles of Gandhi. Then he again looks at me very pointedly and asks me, are you a Gandhian? I don't know what came to my mind at that point. I said, sir, at least in this part of the world, we are Indians, though I've been living there, but we respect our epics, which is the Ramayana, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Mahabharata. They are epics. I've not read them, but I've heard them. So I said, sir, tell me, was Ram a Gandhian? Was Ram a Gandhian? Let us look at the three principles of Gandhi. One, with love you can win everybody. Was Ram able to win everybody with love? Answer is no. So Ram failed the first test. Two, you said tolerance. Did Ram say I'm very tolerant? You kidnap my wife away, I'll get a second one. You kidnap a second one, I'll get a third one. You kidnap a third one, I'll get a fourth one. Did he say that? He said, no, I don't tolerate kidnappers. And three, you said non-violence. I said, tell me, what did Ram do? Even for self-defense, he pulled out his weapon and killed and destroyed evil. He killed him. So Ram failed all three tests. So I said, well, Ram was not a Gandhian. So now let us look at another side of history and the life history of 10 Sikh gurus. The 10th Sikh guru, Guru Gobind Singh Sahib, when the Mughals were forcibly converting into Islam, he could not win with love, so he failed. Two, he said, I will not tolerate terrorism. And three, he had to pull out his weapon. So he was not a Gandhian either. I said, sir, keep in mind that when enemies are auctioning the respect and dignity of your women and children, not fighting is called cowardice. It is not called tolerance. And I said, show me one place you talk of the scriptures. Show me one place in the scriptures where it says, when enemies are auctioning the respect and dignity of women and children. Where does it say at that time, go to the temples and go and do bhajan kirtan and do your hymns at that time? Where does it say do meditation at that time? Bloody well, there is nothing else but cowardice. And I said, I am not a Gandhian. Now, why am I sharing this with you? Because Ram took a stand for something and he took a stand against something. He didn't say I'm neutral. He did not say I'm neutral. I say this because this is where your human value comes in. There are people who talk of values, but they don't bloody well have the guts to take a stand. They're totally outright cowards. They talk of value, they have no bloody values. They have no values.
Yeah. Actually, you said talk louder than words.
A leader takes a stand for something and takes a stand against something.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I said I'm not a Gandhian. Now, I've never been a neutral person all my life. Now, come to the final thing on the value part I'm sharing with you. This is time to give back. I repeat, this is time to give back. You see, we're grateful to God, we have a good place to live, and we have decent living coming here, but there are many people who don't have that privilege. This is time to go share with them. Now, and I've seen videos from all over the world. There are many, many good people who have come forward. They've given their time, their money, their food. There are many people doing a lot of good job. But there is one community, as a community, who has been honored by the government of Canada, government of the United States, governments have honored them, government of UK, government of Australia, and government of New Zealand. One community who has been honored for the humanitarian service. And guess who they are? The Sikh community.
Yeah.
Sikh community. You know why? Because they, even before the crisis, their concept of langar, the Sikh philosophy, the concept of helping and giving, feeding the underprivileged has been going on for years and ages. And hundreds and thousands of people were getting food every day, even before the crisis. Today, millions are getting per day. You know why? The Sikh philosophy believes in three pillars. They're caring people. Two, they're sharing people. Three, they're daring people. I repeat, one, they're caring people, they care. They're sharing people, they share. Three, they're daring people, they bloody well have the courage to fight. And they have the courage to do it, which most cowards don't. And look at that Sikh boy at the Ladakh, killed 12 guys before he got killed. You know something? This is the Sikh philosophy. I wish in India we had adopted the philosophy of the Guru Granth Sahib instead of our own constitution. This country would have been totally a different country here. I share this very strongly for one simple reason. You know, the Sikh philosophy is believed on three pillars. Nam Jap, One Chak, Kirat Kar. Have you ever, Shekhar, have you ever seen in life a Sikh person begging in the world? Never. You will never anywhere in the world find a Sikh beggar. Never. You know why? Their philosophies, they won't mind cleaning the toilet. They will wash your utensils. They will do anything. This is called dignity of labor, dignity of work. I wish, and you know, in the Sikh religion, there is no caste. There is no caste. Every Sikh man is a Singh, every Sikh woman is a Kaur. There's no last name. I wish this country would have adopted the Sikh philosophy. This country would have been totally a different country out there. They have butchered this country. And they give back. This is human philosophy, the values. Now, there was a man by the name of Lafayette in France, very wealthy man. And drought came in France. There were people starving, but he had warehouses full of grains. His advisors said to him, Mr. Lafayette, this is the time, multiply your money 10x, 100x. And they will pay anything for this food grain now. Lafayette said, young man, you don't understand. You see, they were good times. They were laughing, we were laughing. They were making money, we were making money. These are not good times. This is time to share. Open the grains, give it free. He opened the grains, gave it free. You know, it is people like that who demonstrate good values. Now, why do I share that? You see, because I was doing a program for VHNI. You heard HNI, these high net worth individuals. VHNI stands for very high net worth individuals. Now, who do I label as VHNI? Net worth in excess of $250 million. Okay, I was addressing a large group of VHNI people, and one person from the audience came up asking me, Mr. Khera, these are billionaires. They don't need any more money. In fact, many generations can go on and on and on. But why does a billionaire keep working to make more billions? Why do they do it? They don't need it. So my answer was, this is very important, Shekhar. I said, there are two kinds of billionaires. One billionaire keeps making more to hide inferiority complex. They keep making more to keep a score. They make comparisons. How come they have this, I don't have it? How come they have this, I don't have it? How come they have this, I don't have it? He has 50 million, I must make 100. He has 100, I must make 200. You have 200, I got 300. You have 400, I must make 400. If I have less, I'm inferior. So, you know what they do? They're keeping a score. They measure their self-worth by their net worth. I repeat, they're measuring their self-worth by their net worth. They don't understand. People make things, things don't make people. And they keep making more and more to hide inferiority, and they sit on the treasure like a snake, and those rascals do nothing in this world. Totally selfish, and that's about it. Now, Warren Buffett defined them very well. He said, a donkey is a donkey, will remain a donkey. Now, if he has $1 billion, it only means donkey with $1 billion. That's all. Now, I said in my program that, look, if you carry golden bricks on a donkey, that donkey does not become a golden donkey. Donkey is a donkey. You see, you carry scriptures on a donkey, the donkey does not become a spiritual donkey. The donkey is a bloody donkey. So he's got his billion, so what? Now that's one. That's one kind of a billionaire who wants to make more. But there's a second kind of a billionaire who has billions, but he wants to make more because he feels the more I have, the more I give. The more I have, the more I give. The more I have, the more I give. Warren Buffett has 40 billion, give 39 billion to underprivileged. Bill Gates got 33 billion, give 32 billion to underprivileged. Azim Premji gave $7 billion 6 months ago. Tata Organization gives 66% of the profits into charity. Now, look at this. How interesting it is. Now, why do I share this? Because when we do our 3 or 4 day programs, we do talk of money. And we do also talk of financial independence. We tell people, buddy, become financially independent, make money. But then people from the audience come up to me and they say, Mr. Khera, you talk of money, but money is not important. So I have written in my book, You Can Achieve More, which I'll send it to you. I've written, you know the people who say money is not important? They're either stupid or they're billionaires. Now, I didn't say money is the most important thing, but money is very important. But many times people say, well, money can't get you happiness. I said, well, true, but does poverty get you happiness? Now, if I have to be unhappy, I'd rather be unhappy with money than without money. And third, they say, well, money is the root of all evils. I said, no, you don't understand. I said, money is not the root of all evils. It is the love of money which is the root of all evils. Loving money, using people, you got it wrong. Using money, loving people, you got it right. And I said, keep in mind, money is wonderful. Money is food for the hungry. Money is shelter for the needy. Money is clothes for the helpless. Money is great, folks. But this is the difference between making money versus earning money. Keep in mind, making money is criminal, earning money is spiritual. You know why I say that? When you earn it, you have put your energy and ethics towards energy and ethics behind it. Making money is criminal, earning money is spiritual. Sadly, today most people want to make money. And that is true in every profession. Medical, doctors, lawyers, engineers, anywhere. And sadly, they don't teach all these things in any bloody business school. Show me one. Show me. And if you are running a school, I'd be happy to work with you. No bloody school in this world is teaching this. Why do you think James Cook University from Australia signed up a partnership with us for doing our programs there in Australia, in Singapore? And I just want to close this, but sadly, many people don't understand that in the pursuit of money, which is important, in the pursuit of money, they lose out the things money just cannot buy. This is values now. And the most precious things in life, money just cannot buy. See, money can get you amusement, but not happiness. Money can buy you books, but not wisdom. Money can buy you a bed, but not sleep. Money can buy you a companion, but not a friend. Money can get you comfort, but not happiness. Money can get you food, but not appetite. Money can get you a house, but not a home. Money can buy you medicine, but not good health. Money can buy you a ring, but not a marriage. The most precious things in life, money just cannot buy. But remember, money is very important. And in my leadership program, I tell everybody that it is the moral obligation of every good human being to become a multi-millionaire and a billionaire. It's moral obligation. You know why? I learned one thing, that money in good hands always does good, and money in evil hands always does evil. So it is a moral obligation of every good person to become a multi-millionaire. Okay, I'll stop here.
Yeah, thank you. That's very, very insightful. I'm sure lots of people are now, their minds are whirring. I'm also seeing a few questions which are coming up. I've got two questions. I'm going to try to make it as short as possible. We talked about labor, dignity of labor. We talked about people going out and work. We also talked about mental problems. I'm going to put it all together into one question. You know, fortunately, you and I both grew up in the same region. You said you come from Dhanbad in coal mines. I grew up in a place called Bokaro, which is very Dhanbad, 2 hours away. And that whole area is built up of people who are working on a day-to-day, whether they are mines or whether they are steel plants. They get out of their houses every day. They have to go to the mines. They have to go to the steel plant. And they have to work every day. With this whole pandemic which has come through, which has started to give a challenge to this, to allow for people to earn their daily bread or roti. So there's one set of these people who actually have to go out, who have the luxury of working from home, like you and I can do, who have to walk out and there is this risk that they're going through, or they face unemployment and hunger. And there is another set of people, because of the way COVID is impacting the world, who are looking at possibly losing whatever they've built their careers on in all these years. Either they've lost it or they risk losing it. And that to them suddenly seems like an impossible kind of a road hump which they cannot cross over because they have spent their energies building this for years now. And suddenly it seems to be at high risk. So what would your advice be, one, to the set of people who are suddenly possibly looking at this whole realm of unemployment at a senior stage of their life, who might see this as an impossible hoop to jump through? Also to owners or people who run large manufacturing areas like the PSUs, like the mines and the steel plants and manufacturing industries, as to how they should approach this whole situation that we are looking at, and what should be their approach towards this.
See, Shekhar, all I can say is that many of these problems that you are sharing right now, it is very sad, and it pains to see people like that who are so poor they don't even know where the next meal will come from. And what do? Stay home, go out, and with the COVID and the exposure to the crisis and the virus, it is very sad. Now, this is one component of it. I will make a comparison to the mass suicide of farmers in India. You know, people say, well, they're cowards who commit suicide. I would challenge a few people to go have the guts to commit suicide. They don't even bloody well have the guts to do it. You know something, a person commits suicide, it's a very emotional decision, but a it takes a lot of courage to commit suicide. A person commits suicide only when two things happen. One, they feel totally hopeless and totally helpless. Otherwise, they won't do it. Totally hopeless is the word and totally helpless is the word. Now, I will address your question partly, not completely, but let me share. The poor people that you talked of, we have some slums around here where we live in our office in Delhi here. Massive slums, bad slums. I mean, there is no bathroom, nothing, that kids and dogs are eating and doing everything right there. Poverty. But the moment the liquor shops opened from here, who were the first people who were lined up there? All those people came right from there. And you can't even imagine, they had to call the police and eventually they had to close the shop. There were 50, 60,000 people come up here, one shop. And they're the same people who are sadly at the category of poor, but they had all the money to buy the liquor. But they're the same people I've seen. There's a Gurdwara here in the afternoon, lunchtime, they come and have free langar there. Now, it is really sad. Now, why do I share this? The situation we are in today, 90% of problems are man-made, which is created by our dishonest, corrupt governments. I repeat, 90% of the problems have been created by our dishonest, corrupt governments. And they have done it on purpose. Politicians have kept these people poor. Because more dependent they are, the more they will keep going in the begging bowl. The more they will, माई बाप हमको सड़क बना दीजिए, माई बाप हमको पानी दे दीजिए, एंड आप दे दीजिए, हम आपको वोट दे देंगे. This is how they have done. You see, this is the criminality of our politicians. And the word, when we're talking of 45% of our people in the politics have all major criminal records of murders and what you talk about. And sadly, who is the protector of the democracy? Judiciary. Now you tell me, had our judiciary done the job right, could you even have one criminal in the parliament? Answer is no. They did not do the job right either. Judiciary didn't do the job right. So literally, we are committing suicide by installment. This is sad. So do I have the answers to tell what this guy does, a poor man? I feel so sorry. Other than the fact that we apologize that we're living in a country where the entire leadership is dishonest. What do? I don't think we have had a good leader since Sardar Patel. We have not had one good leader since Sardar Patel. So really, the bottom line is, the remedy to this is many. Now, you might say, what are the causes? There's so many multiple causes. Population explosion is such a big issue. Do you know, we have 55 children every minute?
Yes. And let me ask you this. Sorry to interrupt you. While these are issues which are there, which are not probably in control completely in the people like you and me, we can talk about it. So let me just ask you a corollary question to that. What would you advise individuals who are today like you and me, and I represent the IET, which is the Institution of Institution of Engineering and Technology. So there are lots of engineers who are listening to you right now. What should we do as individuals of this country to manage this? So one of the things, there are things that we can't manage. We can obviously talk about it, but what are the things we can do?
Shekhar, I would only. This is something I feel I would address that. I'll make a comparison to the banking industry. I had a banker come over to see me the other day, and they said they're working with 30% staff. And I said, well, are you working at 30% efficiency level? He said, no, working at 60% right now, but we are shooting for 70, 80, and even 90% efficiency level with 30% staff. I said, how's that? He said, there are many people maybe 30-40% people who are on manual banking, we're putting everybody on digital platforms. Okay, so they are able to do that part now. So my next question was that if you are able to achieve, by doing what you're doing, 90% efficiency with 30% staff, does that mean when the crisis is over, 50% of your staff will become redundant? What will you do with them then? He said that's a question that is coming to everybody's mind, and we haven't faced it, but we will have to face the real world at that point. But there's a second side, is working from home has become a culture or a buzzword. But many industries you can't. In manufacturing you can't. Construction, how can you work from home? You can't. But so I asked the bankers, you are working from home. You are paying people. Are you getting the money's worth while working from home? He said, not really, we are not. Because the 80-20 rule applies, and the 80-20 rule says only 20% people can work properly without supervision. Who are responsible? 80% are not. We have to oversee and supervise them. Even if you give them measurable targets, you still need to see and follow them to make sure they're done. Otherwise, you can't justify it. Sadly, people who are not mature, they think working from home is a paid vacation, but they don't understand it's not. Even Narayan Murthy said it is going to be very difficult unless you are able to measure them. Now, this is one side of the picture. But you see, every organization in the world, this is global, every organization in the world has 4 kinds of people working. And that is true with your engineers, accountants, anywhere. 4 kinds of people. One is your superstars. Superstars. They are your contributors. They are proactive. They help with new ideas to help your company grow. They take pride in the performance. They do a great job. And when they do it, it's done. And when they say it is done, you can go check it out. It is done. They don't tell lies. They don't tell lies. They tell the truth. When you check it, they come through. They are your asset to your organization. Asset. Superstar. How many are there? What percentage? Very small. I'd say less than 5%. Okay. One. Second category of people who are working in an organization are called doers. You tell them to do it, 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 don't tell them don't do it. Then you have to go check it out, have they done it right or not? And once in a while they haven't done it, they're occasional liars. Occasionally they don't mind lying either. The third category of person is your talkers. They talk more, do less. And they are really not motivated people. They only do enough what they can get by with. They only do enough that you have no reason to fire them, but you are really not motivated people. They talk more, do less. And they are habitual liars because they don't do enough. They're habitual liars. And the fourth category of person working in any company is the troublemakers. Now, the real bottom line comes to is you need to get rid of your troublemakers and your talkers. Why do you need to get rid of them? Even before the crisis came, I think we should have gotten rid of them even before. I learned one thing, that it is better not to have a person than to have a wrong person in your company.
True.
Now, what do you do with the other two? The doers and the talkers, as the doers and the superstar. Your objective should be, with proper training, make the doer convert him into a superstar. And that is the people you want to work and retain. So I will share only one thing. I address many schools and colleges, business schools, and one thing comes from these young students, MBA students. Mr. K, there's so much competition. We don't get jobs. We don't get jobs. There's so much competition. I said, no, buddy, there's something wrong. Go check out all over the world. Check with people who are employing outside. They can't find good people to work with it. They can't find good people. You know what? The attitude is today that a graduate comes out of business school. They have a piece of paper called MBA or a degree, whatever that happens to be, and they think that is passport to success. They think they know everything. They don't understand anything. And since the expectations are so high, they all want to start as CEOs. They all want to start as CEOs. They don't understand that they don't understand anything anyway. So this is one part. But when they say, well, Mr. Khera, there's a lot of competition out there. And my answer is, this is very important, Shekhar. I was addressing a very mixed gathering of doctors, lawyers, engineers, accountants, and to 200 people. And I said, never in the history of mankind has it been so easy to succeed in life the way it is today. Regardless of your profession, we have no competition. I repeat, never in history has it been so easy to succeed in life the way it is today. Regardless of your profession, we have no competition. After I said twice, one person from the group got up and said, Mr. Khera, how come we have no competition? So here's the question I asked him, and I'm asking all your viewers the same question. Here is my question to all of you. Folks, how many people do you know right now walking off the street who are willing to do a little bit more than what they get paid for? How many people do you know right now walking off the street who are willing to do more than what they get paid for? How many? Hardly any. Most people don't even want to do what they get paid for.
Yeah.
And there's a second big category of people who only want to do what they can get by with. There's a very small fraction of people who are willing to do a little bit more than what they get paid for. And I asked him, if you fall into that category, I don't care what your profession is, tell me where's your competition. You have no competition, you become the competition. Now, I share this, that if you look at life histories of all the people in the world who have succeeded, then they've sustained success. Keep in mind, success is one thing, sustaining success is another. They've succeeded, they sustained success, and three, maintain and build goodwill. They all have lived by this one principle. I shall always give more than what I get to my family. I shall always give more than what I get to my customer. I shall always give more than what I get to my organization. And I shall always give more than what I get to my society. And I said, if you live by this one little principle, you tell me, where's your competition? You become the competition. You have no competition. You know what? You can't even find a good accountant today. You can't even find a good attorney today.
So true.
So you can't find a good carpenter. You can't find a good plumber. Question is, are you willing to do a little bit more than what you get paid for? Now, I talk with humility, and that is, why do our clients hire us? Not because we are the smartest people. There are many, many more qualified people than us. You know my qualification, become third division, I tell people. Our clients hire us not because we're the smartest people. There are many more qualified people than us. They hire us for only one reason. Our commitment to our client is never 100%. It is always 200%. And I'm grateful to God. Yes, for public programs, we do make outbound calls to inform. But in the last 30 years, hear this carefully, in the last 30 years, we have not made one outbound call for corporate business. Not one in 30 years.
Wow.
Every one client we take, we refuse 3. And I'm grateful to God. What is it? Because our commitment is not 100%, it's always 200%. Where's the competition? Folks, if out of this 2-hour program that you and I are doing, if people only take one take home, only one take home, I will tell you this is enough recipe to success. That's it. And this is an integrity issue, sir. This is an integrity issue. You know something? The values have changed so badly today. There are so many people out there who are listening today. You know what they say? I mind my own business. I mind my own business. I don't interfere in anything. I go see to my office. There are so many things wrong. I keep quiet. I do my job, come back. I do my job, come back. Let me ask you. You see wrong and remain silent. Do you have integrity? Answer is no.
Absolutely true, sir. Sir, on the interest of time, I think we will move to your closing remarks. What I'd like to do is add one. There are many questions, and I went through the questions. I see that most of them you have already answered. But there's one question which I'd like you to take within your closing remarks. Is that Praveen Ahuja from HCL, who is a technical manager, he's asked that Mr. Khera, there are many people, including me, who are always worried about the future rather than present. What should these people tell themselves every day to motivate and remain spirited? So if you can dovetail this into your closing remarks as you do, I think that's great. Thank you.
You see, many times people ask me, Mr. Khera, people go through your programs and they're motivated for 2, 3, 4 days and then it dies out. You see, they're asking how long will it last? How long will it last? And they also ask me, do you also get demotivated sometimes? And my answer is yes, I do also get demotivated. See, folks, remember one thing. Motivation is like fire. Unless you keep adding fuel, it dies out. And my question to them is, the food that we ate yesterday, how long did that last? Not too long. You see, the bath we took yesterday, how long did that last? Not too long. Unless we take a bath every day, we start stinking. Similarly, if we do not feed our mind with positive information every day, we start stinking mentally. We need positive. You see, the food that we ate yesterday, how long did that last? See, the point I'm trying to make is we need to have good food every day. Now, if we have junk food, what will happen? We'll fall sick. That means we don't need food only, we need good food every day to stay on track. Similarly, we don't just need thoughts every day, we need good thoughts to stay on track. Otherwise, we become mentally sick. See, folks, there are some people, have you noticed, who are mentally tough people? Mentally very strong. How do you build mental muscles? Just the way you build physical muscles. You see, if I tell you people to go into your gym and pick up a dumbbell of 50 kilos and do 50 reps, man, you'll fall sick. You'll have pains in your body. You can't do it. Similarly, what we do, we go back, pick up 5 kilos, do 20 reps, 50 reps, 100 reps, and then increase those 6 kilos, 7 kilos, and gradually you keep building muscle and become stronger and stronger. Same thing. Folks, do not try to become a positive person overnight for the rest of your life. I repeat, do not try to become a positive person overnight for the rest of your life. Say, I'm going to be positive for 10 minutes. It's a lot easier to practice 10 minutes, stretch it to 15 minutes. See, just like 5 kilos, make it 6 kilos. And then 15 minutes to 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, 35 minutes. And gradually you keep building your mental muscles. This is how you do it. And when we do our 4-day leadership program and 3-day leadership, people walk away with an action plan, how to do. Many places you hear what to do. No, how to do. How to do is the most important thing. This is how we build mental muscles. And my answer is to the gentleman is, you see, our staying positive is like physical. You stop exercising, your muscles flab, you lose stamina. You stop mentally using your mind and you don't feed mind with positive information, you start slipping back. Everybody starts slipping back. You know, just think about what example I gave you. Multi-billionaires read 1 book a week. Are they bloody stupid? Why do you read it? So it's a constant process to stay on track. Otherwise, we all slip back. I slip back too. That's the answer.
Thank you so much, sir. Shall we go into your final closing remarks? I think we have got about 20 odd minutes.
Oh, I thought I was done with my closing remark, but my only closing remark would be that I would say to each one, we have no competition. We have no competition out there. And stay with one principle. I'm always here to give more than what I get. And I would strongly say that it's the moral obligation of every good human being to be a multi-millionaire ethically. And because money in good hands always does good, and money in evil hands always does evil. So if you have any other question, I'll be happy to take it from the floor. I guess I would
Yeah, so there was a question which I think
And
you
one
already answered.
more thing I'd like to bring in,
Sure, sure.
Mr. Shekhar, sorry, apologize for this,
Problem.
is when you talk of human values, build strong relationships in life. This is very, very crucial, sir. And this is for all my audience's viewers. Build very strong relationships in life. This is your biggest support group in life. And people who are emotionally strong, they feel secure when they have strong relationships. Let me share with you. From my book, You Can Win, I'll share a story with you. There were two childhood friends, Bill and Harry. They went to school together, college together, joined the army, war broke out, and they were fighting in the same unit. Harry was in the trench, and the bullets were flying all over. From the darkness, a voice came, Harry, I'm hurt. Please come and help me. So right away, he knew this was his childhood friend, Bill. So he asked the captain, can I go? Captain said, no. Look at the way bullets are flying. You could be dead. I could be short-handed. And the way Bill is sounding, I don't think he'll live anyway. He is going to die anyway. So Harry sat there quietly. Again, the voice came, Harry, I'm hurt. Please come and help me. Since he had asked the first time and been refused, he did not have the guts to ask a second time. But then the voice came the third time, fourth time, fifth time. When it was the fifth time, Harry couldn't hold himself. He said, Captain, this is my childhood friend. I must go. Captain said, okay, go. So Harry crawled through the darkness, went to Bill, grabbed him, dragged him back, threw him into the trench, fell over him, and they found it was his dead body. He was dead. When Captain saw Bill dead, he got angry. He said, didn't I tell you, you shouldn't have gone. You could have been killed. I could have been short-handed. He didn't make it anyway. He said, Harry, you made a mistake. Harry said, no, Captain, I did not make a mistake. Because when I reached Bill and grabbed him, he wasn't dead. His last words were, Harry, I knew you would come. I did not make a mistake. His last words were, Harry, I knew you would come. So this is how crucial relationships are in life. And when there's a good one, it needs to be nurtured and cherished. Now, you see, Shekhar, our biggest asset is not our bank account. It is our relationship account. And you notice people who have good relationships, what they can achieve with one phone call, you cannot achieve with $1 million. I repeat, people who have good relationships, what they can achieve with one phone call, you cannot achieve with $1 million. Now, when we talk of relationships, we're talking of personal, professional, and social relationships. Personal is what? Supposing, God forbid, if you and I, one of us was in the hospital tonight, how many people will be around us? Maybe 1, 2, 3, that's it. And sadly, those are the ones we take them for granted. They are the ones who are the crucial. And I find people who are emotionally strong, their bondings are coming much stronger. And those who are not, they're falling apart. And if they don't build it, they will fall apart anyway. Now, interestingly, Shekhar, it so happened that I got a call from a gentleman I had not heard 10 years ago. He calls me and says, Mr. Khera, we met 10 years ago. We enjoyed being together. But somehow, we didn't keep up. I apologize, I didn't keep up. I'm calling to reconnect. 10 years later, after he hung up, I said, he beat me to a phone call. And the moment he hung up, I looked at my own telephone book. And I had people I had met 3, 4, 5 years ago, and I respected them, but I didn't keep up with them. I immediately started calling them. I said, buddy, we met 3, 4 years ago. We enjoyed being together. But I apologize, I didn't keep up with you. I'm just calling to reconnect. I have no business with you. You know, I reconnected. Now, no purpose, no business, no interest. This is what it is. This is where you build relationship. But there are some people who join associations like engineering or Chamber of Commerce or Rotary or Lions or something to network. Their objective is to build contacts. You know what the purpose of the contact is? someday he could be useful. Remain contact with him, he could be useful someday. He's a doctor, he's a lawyer, he's a cop, he's something, he's a mafia, he's a politician. Someday he could be useful. Usefulness goes, relationship goes. You know something? They are rascals, they are parasites, they are takers. You can never build relationship with such rascals. Never. You know something? This is not the way to build relationships in life. You see, in life, you need to learn to give. You need to learn to add a value addition to another person's life. That is what builds a relationship in life. And keep in mind, helping each other is a duty of a friend, but never the purpose of friendship.
True.
If it is a purpose, then purpose finishes, friendship finishes also. Helping each other is incidental to friendship, but is a duty of friendship, but never the purpose of friendship. I repeat, helping each other is a duty, but incidental to friendship, never the purpose of friendship. Because if it is a purpose, purpose finishes, friendship finishes. You see, this is where I hate the word tolerance. I don't like this word. You see, people say you should be tolerant. What do you mean tolerant? I and my wife live together not because we can tolerate each other. We live together because we respect each other. The day respect for each other goes, we can't live together. If we live together only because of tolerance, it only means we're postponing the boss. An employer-employee working together long term, they don't work together because they can tolerate each other. If they're working only because they can tolerate each other, guess what? The moment they have an option, they pack up and get out.
So true.
So the key word here is building strong relationships is crucial in life. And remember, helping each other is a duty of a friend, but it's incidental to friendship, never the purpose of friendship. And people who have strong friendships in life, relationships, Harvard University did a study which said they are living happier, healthier, stronger lives. That is your biggest thing. And those only people who are strong emotionally can build good relationships. You know, you can trust them. People who are emotionally weak, they're unstable. They're moody people. The whims and fancies today. And people who are erratic in behavior, can you ever trust them? Answer is no.
Sure.
So, no trust, how can you build a relationship?
So absolutely true. Now, in fact, it's so funny, Mr. Khera. From April onwards, from the time we have been in lockdown after a month, I have been spending every month. So I look at the phone and I have got about 3,000 numbers on my phone.
My
and
God.
I realized that at the most, I have been in touch, constant touch with about 40 to 45 to 50 of them. So my job has been over the last few months that every month I connect with 50 people whom I have not connected in years. So every month I'm doing that. So just, I mean, it's so, relationships are so important here. So
you're a mentor. Yeah.
it's been wonderful talking to you, sir, and listening to your inputs. I'm sure all the people who have been listening have deeply benefited from him, as have I, from so many things which sometimes are home truths, but sometimes we just forget about it. Till somebody like you puts it in such a great perspective that it hits us hard. So that's what I think has happened today to all of us. And thank you so much for taking time out to speak to all of us. This conversation not only is being live webcasted now, but it's also being simultaneously cast on our YouTube channel as well as our Facebook page.
I'm sure you recorded it also, you can keep it.
Yes, and it will continue to remain there, so more and more people can continue to watch this as we go along. So thank you so much for being here today. Thank you. So please tune in every Friday at 2 p.m. for our weekly digital conversations, for many more exciting conversations, insightful conversations that we have on this platform. Thank you very much for attending, and we will